Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I have three announcements for members. The first one relates to Mary Kilbride, who was appointed, as I'm sure members are aware, as one of the three independent persons for the Council's Standards Committee back in May 2003, and she served in that position until the old standards regime, some of us agree, was sadly abolished under the Localism Act of 2011. And then in 2012, the Council appointed her and David Basson as the two independent persons under the new local arrangements. And I know that Paul Doran and his predecessor used Mary frequently as a sounding board on a number of occasions. And we also believe that Mary, now having said she would like to step down from the role, that it's probably appropriate, given the general probity of almost all, I'm sure, the members of this council, that we don't necessarily need to have two such people. So the suggestion will be made that we might just have a single independent person in the shape of David Basson. But I do think it would be appropriate that we do mark our gratitude to Mary and we invite her to the February council meeting if we can manage that, so that Mr. Mayor will be able to record her the gratitude of the council. Second announcement, Mr. Mayor, is to say that Southampton and Fairham's Legal Services Partnership has achieved a highly commended place in the recent Lawyers in Local Government Annual Awards Dinner. And the submission sounds like a great event, doesn't it? And the submission was put in based on our innovative work in relation to offering opportunities to young people from non-traditional or disadvantaged backgrounds to be able to forward their legal careers. And the partnership worked with local universities and colleges, and were able to offer 4 40-week placements, a modern apprenticeship, and 2 shorter placements under the Pathways to Law programme and the Santander Graduate Placement Programme. So that's really good news. So thank you for your work in that one. And then the last thing I wanted to comment upon, Mr. Mayor, we have today received our grant settlement from central government. The provisional settlement came out. It's sadly not very good news. Currently we receive around £3.2 million in grant and business rates from central government. And in our strategy, we were thinking we might see a 12% cut. Well, sadly, we were wrong. We thought the reduction would be down to 2.8 million, and the provisional settlement has put it at 2.59 million, which is a £600,000 reduction compared to this year. I'm sure members are aware that if we need to raise spending, every 60,000 is equivalent to 1% on the council tax. This is a £600,000 reduction. And there was also no announcement made about the council tax freeze grant either, except confirmation that previous council tax freeze grants are rolled up in the core funding. So they are preserved somewhere in that rather small figure, but we have heard nothing about a council tax freeze grant for the coming year. So I think we'll obviously therefore have to look very, very carefully at what we do around council tax. The referendum thresholds for council tax increases have been confirmed as well, and they are 4% for county councils and unitaries. And you may recall from the budget the Chancellor said that they could raise 2% for social care and 2% for the others. So that's 2% would be our limit. If we want to put it up 2%, we'd have to have a referendum. Police and crime commissioners and shire districts with a very low Band D council tax, and of course that includes Fareham, can increase council tax by up to £5 before a referendum is triggered. That's £5 a year. To our £5 increase would offset some of the larger reduction seen in government grant. Funding for new homes bonus has been reduced by £40 million, and that's funded instead by a top slice from the council's core funding. And the indication for new homes bonus for 2016-17 is probably around £2 million. And the government has also published what they call guaranteed 4-year budgets for councils, and for Fareham the indication is that our government grant will reduce to 1.85 million by 2018-19, which is earlier than we expected. So, that's the news. I'm afraid it's not particularly good news. And overall, the average revenue support grant for district councils has dropped by 25% across the country, whereas the average revenue support grant for county councils and unitaries has actually risen by 8%. So those are the figures. And I think we do detect very clearly a move by government to, whereas we've been freezing, government has been producing freeze grants for half a dozen years, but I think we're going to see now very clear direction that council tax should now be picking up more of the costs of running local government, as revenue support grant will undoubtedly disappear over the next 5 years. So those are the figures. Sorry, it's a bit downbeat at the end, Mr. Mayor, but those are the figures we've got today.